Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing: single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebar2go.com. That is the number 2 in The Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we celebrate America's greatest whiskey documentarians, Steve Akley and Bo Cumberland. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akley, along with our special guests, Kathy Cool, Jeff Andreezy, and Miss Beka Sue.
Woo! Hello! Hey, gang, what's up?
What a special night.
Yes. It was supposed to be Bo on here. Obviously, that's why this show comes about. He bails at the last minute. He had to take care of some family stuff, which is fine. And I feel like I can do the heavy lifting on the show here, so not a big deal. And we'll talk about some of the stuff we got going on, and we got some really cool things in the works too. So that's pretty exciting. So you're going to see a lot of activity coming from us very soon here, and can't wait. But we'll get to that after the break. For right now. This works out crazy. Becca and I are here together in my studio.
In real life.
In real life.
Turns out we're real life friends too.
Yeah, exactly. And this is, we have to be because I have a podcast studio set up for one. And I'm 1.5 myself anyway. So luckily Becca's only a half. So I guess we still work.
You're real close.
We're definitely close. So yeah. So how does this come about, Becca? How do you end up here?
Oh, wow. How did I end up here? Pure guilt. I'm here
guilt works.
Out of guilt.
Guilt works, right?
Royce is at Camp 5280 this weekend. And a couple months ago, him and Royce, Steve and Royce, were talking about a card game and putting one together. And Steve's like, I've got stuff going on, but I can definitely make it work. I can make it work. So they planned this out. And then earlier this week, when Royce was talking about going to 5280, he gets a call from Steve, and Steve's like, so did you clear it with her? And he goes, I'll call you back. And I said, what the fuck was that about? And he's like, well, I just figured, so it's really... I
thought he talked to you.
Really important for Steve to come to this card game, because it's his card game that he put together. So I just figured that you could drive to St. Louis and work for Steve in the barrel shop while Steve plays cards and then come back the next day. And I'm like,
you pay for this mission?
I go, fuck you. I'm like, fuck you, dude. I said, you think I'm going to fucking drive to St. Louis to work for Steve? He's like, I mean, it would just mean so much to him.
It's true.
And I'm like, you sound like my fucking grandma, Royce. I'm like, trying to guilt trip me. And he goes, I'm not trying to guilt trip you. I said, you are. He's like, well, maybe kind of. He's like, but otherwise, just Amy has to work at the store. She doesn't want to talk to anybody. She
doesn't want to talk to people.
Think about Amy. And I'm like, you're good at this.
So, yeah, you got the soft spot.
Yep. And I went, fine, fuck it, whatever. I guess I'll work.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, this is not about Steve. This is for Amy's sake. It's just so we all clear.
Just to make sure that everyone is aware. This is
so
for
what percentage of the sales tomorrow do you get to take home?
That's what he doesn't know that I actually have already thought about this. I was chatting with the Old Hillside guys today, Old Hillside Bourbon, and they said, you should definitely be taking home a cut. And I said, you're right. And so that's all I had to think about on my, 5-hour drive here today.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could make one heck of an infinity bottle out of all the things you're going to be pouring and just take it with you.
Yeah. Let's not forget, I'm offering her free room and board. She's got a frozen pizza.
I got frozen pizza.
I made for her tonight. And by the way, when I go to Beka's house, it's the same. The ride's the same for me as her. I'm driving up there, and I'll get a text. She'll know, what's your ETA? I'll say the ETA. And about 15 minutes before my ETA is supposed to be there, so they're like, and by the way, we have no food for you, so there's that.
That's never happened.
It has.
Never happened.
It's happened.
I've maybe said before, we have been traveling a lot so that we don't have any dinner or something like that. Or Steve told me 30 minutes prior that he's coming to my house. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't have any fucking dinner for you.
As she's taking that same drive in the reverse order, I get a text from her. You're gonna have some pizza for me tonight. I'm like, okay.
So I don't ever like to give Steve credit, but going to St. Louis is so much easier than coming back this way because we do lose an hour. That 4 to 5 hours turns into fucking 6 or more. I'm like, God, coming home is the work. Coming east is terrible.
Thanks for the reminder.
Every time.
Very excited for my drive back.
It's so much easier to go to St. Louis than come this way.
Yeah.
It's like magic getting here.
It really is. It is.
Didn't feel like magic today.
You get an hour in your favor. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's super cool driving to St. Louis to work over the weekend, which is why on the post it said, "Oh, when she shows up, she shows up."
I did.
You're fucking right. I don't want to be here.
No, Beka asked me, what time does the shop open? I said 9. She says, no fucking way. No fucking way.
I said, no.
I'm like, okay, the shop still opens at that time.
That's fine.
You don't have to be there. She's like, I'm just going to Uber there. And I'm like, when I feel like, I'm like, okay.
It would be such a short flight, but does CVG not have a direct flight to St. Louis? He could have been here's a first class ticket, Beka. I will pick you up from the airport. No driving for you. That would have been polite.
I think there probably is, but I still would have had to drive to CVG and then wait for Steve to pick me up at the airport.
Right.
Well, still a pain in
Uber. But I would have at least gotten to sleep and got drunk in the airport, which is one of my favorite things to do.
It's a beautiful ride here.
It was pretty.
Illinois.
It's a good time. It's a good time to go. The leaves.
No, the cornfields that they are plucking, that they are whatever they're doing to them, that you get dust all over your car. I still have dust on my car from when I drove in the last time because I don't go to the car wash. It's very annoying to look at.
It was pretty.
Yeah, it was nice, right? It was nice. So, well, there you go. So Beka is here. She's happy. I've warned our customers she's going to yell at them, and I thought that would be a thing where they would be like, "Oh, that's not good." They love it. They want to. They want to see Beka yelling. They don't want them to yell at them, by the way. They want them yelling at the next person.
Which is this?
No one wants to get yelled at, but everyone wants to see someone getting yelled at.
It's a lot. People just think that I'm probably mean, but I'm really not. But I can yell at people on a podcast because, I don't you're not my customers. I am a very customer service person, so I don't just fucking yell at customers. Which I guess. I'm not making any fucking money tomorrow, so they're not my customers, so I can yell at them all I want, I guess.
All day.
Doesn't matter to me. I'll run them all off.
Well, I feel like they've been warned at least, so there's that. Well,
here's where the problem lies. They're going to like it, and they're going to be like, can she come back once a month?
Of course. They're going to want her there once a month.
Men are so weird.
Yeah.
We are, aren't we, Steve?
It's none of the chicks who are like, I really want to get yelled at. No.
Yeah.
No. Kathy Cool's not like, God, I hope Beka fucking yells at me tonight.
No.
Not a chance.
But
no, thank you.
But the weird thing is there are a lot of women who are like, ooh, that guy's coming in. Ooh.
They want to come
would that
out
be the
and find
same?
out.
Would guys be doing that if I'm like, Evan Van Scoyk's filling in tomorrow? They would be like, ooh. No one's doing that. It's dudes.
The wives are coming in. The wives are coming in to see what all the fuss is about.
Yeah, well,
Wives always love me.
so
Or they really hate me. It's really one or the other.
one or the other. One or the
Yeah.
other.
There's never a middle ground. I know.
Never.
There's never a middle
But
ground.
usually if they love me, it's because they're like, so have you ever thought about being a third? And I'm like,
Oh,
I
Wow. Oh,
No big deal.
holy cow.
Off the rails. We've got the,
It did.
That's not my It's the fucking truth.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. There it is. It's out there now. No third. So don't even ask. I don't know who gets yelled at tomorrow. Well, that's that. So, there you go. Guess what, gang? It's time to drink. Why is that funny? It's time to drink. I'm just eating. I literally had like the busy day. I didn't have time to sit down. The wife
I don't
came
know
in.
that I've ever seen you eat during a podcast. That's
I know.
usually the judge's job.
Yeah.
The judge eats during the podcast.
Yes.
Every time. You can always hear her eeting too. It's like
Right.
she's like eating her soup. You hear like
Soup.
the spoon
Who
clanking
chooses
every
soup
time.
when they're on a podcast?
I feel like she thinks it's going to be quieter, and we're like, it's worse.
No,
It's-
it's
Yeah, it's where yeah.
Yeah. It's terrible. On that note, guess what, gang? It's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Becca's going to go choose something, so we'll go with Jeff. Jeff, what do you got there?
well,
Hanging out in the dojo.
yeah, hanging out in the dojo. I just got this the other day in the mail, and I'm a little ticked because it doesn't have the little rope around the lid, around the neck.
Oh, Becca found out the exact same thing. She got
I
that.
found that out too. I'm so happy
Right.
you're gonna try it
Right.
too. It's
I'm gonna
not as bad as it smells.
I'm going to get a little crab trapper. So here we go.
Oh, it was
Sweet,
nice.
but solid.
It was cute.
The smell is bad, Jeff, but the taste is actually pretty
I
pleasant.
tried it too. Becca had it. She let me try it.
Would
so-
you agree?
Yeah,
It smells
it's fine.
not great. Taste was actually
Very medicinal.
very,
Medicinal.
very crabby.
All right, McNew, you're next.
I actually have a sample of Lux Rose small batch in sherry casks. And that was a surprise.
Oh. That was clean. Jeff had so much squeak on there, and I think they were close enough. I'd say McNew takes it over. She definitely stuck the landing there. All right,
I'm with you.
Kathy. Yeah, yep. Kathy, you're next. What do you got?
In honor of Becca joining us, I'm going to open up some of my Neely.
Okay.
This one is Rice Bee Cream.
Royce B. Cream, the ABV Barrel Shop. No. McNew still has lead. Becca, you're next. What do you got?
I've got some. I guess I should probably grab like fancier stuff, but I have manners. I just grabbed some Long Branch because I haven't had this in a long time, and
Okay.
I'm kind of curious what it tastes like.
Ooh, that was solid. A little slosh at the end, but we're not in what would be our normal seating. We jammed in here together, so it's like she's had to hold the bottle, do that. All right, I've got Cherry Bomb. So this is from Demetrius Kane and Nobleton's latest pick. We just got this in, so let's see what we got here. No, that was a ripoff.
That was sad, Steve.
That was yes, that was ridiculous. I thought it was going to be good because the cork was like really tight, but didn't work out that way. So no. So Becca wins. So cheers, gang.
Cheers.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking about the filmmaking duo of Akley and Cumberland. We'll do that in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of Executive Bourbon Steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your Executive Bourbon Steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your Executive Bourbon Steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in the spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com. And now, back to the show.
This is Danny Kennard, which is turning into Freddie Mills. Y'all have a good fucking day, because this is the Bourbon Daily. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about whiskey's greatest film duo, Steve Akley and Bo Cumberland.
Yes, we are. So we've got some cool things in the works. Bo and I already have 5 full-length documentaries out already. And we also have kind of like a TV show that is out too, so that's kind of fun. And now we have probably 3 or 4 documentaries that we're going to be releasing here pretty quick. The Neely Family Distillery one, something we've been working on for 5 or 6 years, is going to be completed soon, is my understanding. So a lot of that is in the hands of Bo. A lot of raw footage on that. We interviewed a lot of people. So it's going to be a good one, but I know he has a lot of work to do with that. So, but that's the one he's working on right now, and he claims it's going to be done within the next week or 2 here. So I don't know if we have to do any additional shoots to capture a couple things to kind of wrap up the movie, but other than that, I think it's kind of ready to go. And then we're going to start going back through some of the documentaries that we've done and release the full-length interviews. So when you see a documentary like let's talk about Jim Rutledge. He was in our movie Blending is Trending. In that movie, he was probably in the movie for 8 minutes. We talked to him for probably 2 hours. I mean, so we're going to release the full unabridged interviews with some of these people. And we got some cool ones too. We got Chet Zoller. Of course, the time that Bo dropped his pants. It was moments before that, so that'll be good. And unfortunately, Chet passed away just recently. So that'll be a good interview to revisit and hear his. We didn't get even a lot of the stuff that he knows. He's a bourbon historian. We didn't even get into a lot of the things that he was talking about because it didn't apply to the blending. So now you get to see, a little bit more history stuff, which is kind of cool. And then another really good one that we've got that'll be upcoming too is an interview with Al Young. So obviously Al Young's been gone about 3 years now, I guess this year. So so it's kind of cool. We got the last time he ever was on film telling the story of Four Roses, and some of that's in the movie, but we'll get the the rest of it, the other things that he talked about. And I don't know if we filmed some of the outtakes and stuff like that. It was funny because Al, he's a bit cranky. I mean, he was at that age when you're going to be cranky. Let's be honest. He was, 76 years old or 77 or something, maybe 80. He was old. And one of the things that just got him angry, not at us, but the PR people are there. And one of the rules of the PR people is, let's switch out our products. When you talk about this, you'll have sitting in front of you a bottle. And when Brent Elliott talks, he'll have a bottle. And every time they were opening these brand new bottles, he's like, we're not even drinking it. And as a matter of fact, it's sitting there closed. And they're like, on a movie though, the Four Roses policy is you can't have a plastic on there, like no one's drinking it or something like that. You're just saving bottles and stuff like that. So they made him, and Al was fucking pissed about that. He wasn't happy.
It's unnecessary.
Yeah, he was like, no, well, let's just film it, and then we go put it back on the shelf. And they're like, no, that's not how that works. It has to be open. Our whiskey's meant for drinking, and if we're going to show it sealed, that's the wrong message and stuff like that for a movie.
I completely agree with that.
So yeah, that tell it to Al. You wouldn't say.
I get a lot, or I say I would open it. So he'd probably. I have a rule whenever I take photos and stuff for online, like I always take off the seal because I think it looks silly when there's a seal on anything. Now I do reseal them because I don't necessarily pour out of it.
You can.
If I don't pour out of it, then I'll just reseal it up.
Right, which is something you could do anyway. If there's something wrong with the seal, you just take it off, put a new one on. So makes sense.
Steve, do you have enough outtakes to do like a whole documentary to like those who have left us, like Chet Zoller, Al, like you have other people who have passed that we could do the whole thing?
We have
like a nice tribute.
We have a lot of them. We have Papaw, certainly footage with him. That I think that's interesting. We got a whole documentary with Papaw that we'll do. That's got to be in the mix too. We just when he started getting sick, Royce had us have him sit down and just tell stories. And, it was a matter of just remembering these stories that he had told me over the years. So I just had to sit across from him and be like, tell me about the time when you went to jail and they didn't search you, a gun on you. He just tells those stories and stuff like that. So, but again, I wouldn't be part of it. It'll be just him just telling story after story after story, which would be really a cool thing. So. Yeah, it's the stuff that we do is neat. I always think that the most fun things, and certainly podcasting is fun. Yeah, writing is fun. I love writing, but there's nothing more fun than making movies because I just think that it's conducive to preserving history. I feel like, and I've instructed my daughter. I'm like, these movies are out there. Just keep this account open and just keep those movies out there forever. That way people can always see them. They're always out there. And, I always like to be like, hey, 80 years from now, when they're trying to look back on the bourbon boom of the 2020s, who are the players in that? We'll have this great history that we've put together like no one else. There's no one else making documentaries like us. When's the last bourbon documentary that you can name beyond ours? If you ask the general public, they'll be like, well, of course, Neat, for instance. Well, that's old. 5-6 years old at this point. It's not new. And great movie. The production values are incredible, but it's also very basic. It's not aimed for you folks. It's not aimed for the people who are listening to this podcast. It's aimed for your grandma, someone who doesn't know anything about bourbon and wants to learn what is bourbon. What's the difference between bourbon and whiskey? If that's what you want to learn, Neat's awesome for that.
Yeah, so it's a really good documentary, but like now, like if I re-watch it, I'd be like, I know already. Can we get to something interesting? It's not for us. But
2018, that's from, so 6 years old. Yeah.
Wow.
So, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just wanted to ask Steve. You said 5 full length. Where can we find all those?
So all of them, with the exception of the Jerry Dalton movie. The Jerry Dalton movie is on YouTube. Yep. We always said we wanted to be able to people to watch that for free. So let's get Jerry Dalton in the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame. Eventually, we're going to do a recut of that'll have some of the footage of Jerry going into the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame because ultimately that movie was successful. It established what we wanted to do. He's in the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame because of that movie, actually. I mean, that's indisputable. I mean, literally, I have footage of them, Eric Gregory from the KDA, talking about that on the stage. He's like, this industry's so weird. We got some guy named the Bourbon Sasquatch that made a movie. I'm sitting right there. I'm like 15 feet from Eric Gregory, who doesn't know who I am or anything. He has no idea who I am, and he's talking about that. So that was funny. So
I love it.
Yeah. The rest are on Amazon, so you can watch them on Amazon. That's our primary thing where we put everything out there. So that's what we utilize, and all these documentaries I'm talking about will end up on Amazon. I always feel like we're shortchanged doing what we do. Our stuff is as good as quality as anything that's out there, anything that's ever been made. That's a bourbon documentary, and we've never had like a film production company talk to us or like, hey, we want to buy this, or hey, we can help you put this on Netflix. Everything that we do, they want to take, all your money. They'll be like, hey, we can get this on Netflix for you, and we'll take 60%. You guys can take 40%. And I'm like, I'd rather just no one see it. I'd rather just my friends and family see it, put it out there where anybody can access it, and let's make it available where 50 years from now people can see it. That's the important thing to me. And it's not about the money. I just don't like other people making more money than I do for the effort that I've done and the knowledge that I brought, just because they have the ability to get something on a platform. I'd rather make people work for it to find it, and that's just how I am. We don't make any money off movies. Movies cost me money to do. Yeah, but we certainly make a little bit of money off of that. But right now we just had a movie release, St. Louis Whiskey. And yeah, we're probably pulling in about $120 a month these days off of that.
Score.
That's nothing. Yeah, score. It cost me thousands to make a movie because we have hotels, and Bo and I have to be in separate rooms now. We used to have one room. I can't be in a room with anybody else. After he ate that Skyline chili and blew up my bathroom, I was like, for now on, I'm in my own room. Damn the budget.
So, Steve, if there were no barriers,
yes,
and you could make any whiskey movie you wanted, what would that movie be?
Yeah, if I could make any, and I wish it could happen. And I've reached out to the family, and again, I don't know if they're busy or what, but to me, the Book or No movie should be made. I feel like he's the greatest distiller of our generation, and one of the all-time great distillers. And we're only a generation away from him not being known anymore. The people that know contemporaries of Booker are now older than me. They're in their 60s. The people that talked to him, worked with him, know Booker, know the stories. We're losing these folks, and the Book or No movie would be the ultimate movie to make. But I don't want to do it half-assed. The family's got to work with me. Jim Beam has to sign off on it. We have to get access to the people and to the family to come in and tell stories and be a part of it. And we haven't been successful in doing that. We've asked, and they haven't said no, but they haven't said yes either. They haven't said anything. That's to me the one that may get away and we may never get to do, and I think it's unfortunate. But yeah, we'll see.
I think if they were interested, Steve, you would be the person they would want to do that, because you do have relationships there. I don't think they're going to just sell that to like anybody. And when you're just like, hey, I'm not here for money, I just think it's a story that needs to be told. I think if they knew that part of it, that I think you would be the person they would want to make that movie for them.
Right.
When they want to make it.
And we did get sign off on, the biggest whiskey company in America. Jack Daniels has signed off that we are going to be allowed to go there and make a movie. I'm excited about that. Again, I don't know ultimately in the long run if that hurts my ability or helps my ability to make a movie with Beam. I don't know if they would be like, well, we're not working with you. You worked with Jack Daniels. If that's what happens, that's what happens. I went to them first. And have tried to do that for a couple of years, and I want to do that project, but I have no ability to do so. So we're going to focus our attention. Jack Daniels will be one that we do in 2025. We'll be filming that. And again, full access. This is what we want. We want the full access to the longtime workers, to the people that are there. We don't have anybody left that knew Jack Daniel, the man. He died in 1911, I think. So there's nobody left that knew him or talked to him. But there are people that worked in the company a long time that might have, you look at the old timers that are in the company now. We are close enough that there may have been somebody who worked with, someone that worked with Jack Daniels. The old timers that were there when these folks that are old timers now just were starting out might have had some stories, firsthand accounts from Jack. I'd like to talk to those folks and get that on film and get that documented. And that's the kind of stuff that we like to tell. So
I think that doing it one with Jack Daniels will actually help with the Jim Beam one, because they're direct competitors, and they'll go, oh, well, we want one now too.
Yeah.
I think so too. They'll
we
see
do
the
it the right
quality,
way.
they'll see the
Right. The quality's there. We're not rogue filmmakers. We're not going to do anything that's going to embarrass them. Matter of fact, so much so, we're willing to let them screen it. And hey, so you can see, we're not doing anything. We've had to do that before. If you watch our movie, Blending is Trending, there's some information about Pappy Van Winkle in there. And we had to go to Julian Van Winkle. I had his phone number from when I interviewed him. And I called him and said, hey, can we make this movie, and we want to use this quote to kind of wrap up the movie. And he's like, I got to see it. I got to see the movie. So sent him a copy of the movie. He watched the movie and said, fantastic. you're good.
So Steve, you do everything in this business with just a ton of respect. You're not out poking holes in people's stories. You're there. You're genuinely interested. I think that just going to keep carrying you the business forward. So it's kudos, man.
Yeah, thank you. People that can be a negative thing because they're like, you only talk about the good stuff. I get that. I do only talk about the good stuff. You know what I do with the stuff I don't like, I hate, or don't want to drink, or is bad, or the people I don't like at distillery owners, I just ignore them. I don't talk about it because those problems take care of themselves. I'm not going to bash anybody's brand because you know what? I always feel even if I don't like a product, there may be people that like that.
Somebody does.
Yeah, somebody may like it. Well, so who cares? Why am I to trash a brand if I don't personally like how it tastes? There may be other people that like it. And the other thing that gets to me too, they're putting everything on the line. This is what I hate about people that think they're doing what I do. That are media people, because what's the cost of starting a bourbon media company? YouTube's free. I can upload to YouTube. I got a cell phone already. And I'll just upload that. They have no cost. You're talking about people who have hundreds of $1,000s, if not millions of dollars invested in a brand that they're doing. I'm not going to bash that. If there are people out there that like it, let them shop it and let them find it. I just won't talk about it. And to me, you don't say anything negative. If I don't talk about it, you figure out what's going on there. I mean, that's just how I am. I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's how I am. And that's how I'll always be. So. But
so can you share a bit about Bo's role in all this? He's not here to.
Bo, I wish Bo was here. Bo is unbelievably talented. Bo and I connect. He was a subscriber to Bourbon Zeppelin, my publication that I send out twice a month, and our relationship started as simple as him sending me an email and saying, "Hey, I really like this publication, and I like some of the facts and things like that. I make documentaries." Which were all about moonshine, by the way, not about bourbon. And he said, would you mind if I cited that as a source in some of my films, some of the stuff that you do? I'm like, you can do that anytime you want. And then I watched a couple of his movies and I thought the production is great. Why isn't he doing stuff about bourbon? So I reached back to him and said, hey, have you ever considered doing anything in the bourbon world? He's like, well, I don't really know anybody in bourbon. And we started on our first film. I said, hey, I've got a movie idea, and I had already written a script for a movie, not knowing how I'd ever make a movie, but I'm a writer, and I like the challenge of writing a script. I want to write a whole TV show script. Again, I don't know that I'll ever make a true TV show, but I have ideas, and I want to write it. It's just a challenge, and ended up making that movie. It was our first film that we did, Kindred Spirits. So. That's how I met. And Bo does everything. He films the movie. He does the sound. He does the graphics that you see within that. He edits everything. He overlays the music. He's not the one doing the music. That's Susie Cousins, who's the third partner in all this stuff. She does all of her music. It's custom. And again, that's expensive. You can get stock music, which is very cheap. You can even get free stock music. We don't do that. We do custom soundtracks for our stuff. I have to pay for studio time. That ends up being, $3,000 or $4,000, and that's just comes out of your pocket. And you're like, hopefully those $150 monthly things add up to enough at some point. I can pay off what I spent on that film, and that's just how it works. So anybody thinks, man, you're just making a ton off making these movies. That's not the case at all. I'm doing it because I love it and I want to document this stuff. So yeah, I maybe in my lifetime I won't be. It'll be like an artist that after I'm gone, then people realize, man, that son of a bitch knew some stuff. He was good. God damn, he was good.
You're going to be one of those, oh my God, he was ahead of his time. He should have.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. They'll be like, oh, the Akley stuff. Yeah. When he and Cumberland would do all the stuff. And yeah. So, yeah.
But also, like, big shout out to Susie, because her original songs and then pull a lot of it together, too. She does amazing work.
It does. I see some of that stuff. And it can be hard sometimes. Believe it or not, you come up. I come up with the ideas. I write the script. Again, there's always a script with everything we do. You're like, well, aren't they just talking? Yeah, whatever the people say in the film, it's a documentary. They say, but you have to script out how you're going to do this. What are they going to do? What are you going to show? You script all that stuff out, and then you come up with an idea for a movie, and then you see it and it's better than you ever envisioned it. That's when it's cool to be an artist. When the final product, and you've got three of you working together, and it all comes together, and it's better than any of you could imagine individually, that's powerful. So, and that's what we do with our movies. So I don't know.
You also have to write the narration, Steve. Like, you have like openings and endings and things in between. You have to do all that too. It isn't just people talking. So
right. And I do the announcement. Other than Bo really wanted to be an announcer sometime, and he talked me into, and he was good. St. Louis Whiskey was like, "You're in the movie. I think I should be the announcer for that one." And I was like, "You know what? You're right. You've always wanted to be an announcer on this stuff," and he did a good job. So it's we may switch it up from time to time, just because that's something that's a passion thing for him. He works hard at all this stuff. He deserves to get a shot to help out in that way too. So yeah, but yeah, it's fun.
Back to the 5 full length. What are they? What are the 5, Steve?
So the first one we did was called Kindred Spirits: the story of Kentucky craft bourbon. So that one's about 7 craft distilleries in Kentucky. The idea was we're seeing things out like the movie Neat and stuff like that. Who are they talking about? Jim Beam, Wild Turkey's in there. Four Roses, all the big guys. Let's tell the stories of the little guys. Let's tell those stories. So that was the first one we ever did. Then we did one. And again, I feel talking about being ahead of your time. That came out in probably 2018. I think we filmed it. It came out in 2019. Blending is trending. This idea that, man, I'm starting to see blending, which was like the worst thing in the world in the 70s and the 80s. All of a sudden, it's coming back. We're seeing distilleries blending whiskey and stuff like that. And not only it starts in the craft world, of course, but then we're seeing it in all the big heritage brands. They're starting to release blends. It's like, it's trending. So we made that movie. That was the second movie we've got out. Blending is trending. That one's like an all-star cast too, because Al Young's in there. You got Freddie No, Jackie Zykan. I mean, it's a cool movie for sure. And by the way, the last, I don't know, fourth of the movie, third of the movie, whatever it is, if Freddie No, that's all one shot of him creating a blend and stuff like that. It does live, and then we got to taste it afterwards. It's like some of the best whiskey I ever drank. It was incredible. And even though we had to take him out of his normal process, which involves blending, letting it kind of marry together for like a day, and then coming back, and we didn't have time to do that. We had to do it all there, and man, he did a great job of putting that together. The third one I did was that came out was called Get Jerry Dalton in the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame. That one does work. It gets Jerry in the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame. That was pretty cool. I love that title too. It's in your face.
That's exactly what
do you think the movie's about? Well, it's about the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame. So yeah. What's kind of cool too, the approach of that one, it's a little bit of a love story because there's no guarantees. I got Jerry in there telling a story. We make that movie. There's 2% chance we can actually get him in the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame. I don't know what the odds would be. I'd say it's heavily stacked against us. Who are we? We make a movie. Who gives a shit? No one watches our movies anyway. So who cares? So you make that movie and you just hope for the best, but you're at the same time, you're telling Jerry, this may not work. Maybe no one cares. And you talk about, it's okay. If he doesn't make it, it's okay. He's remembered through the movie. So that was an important one for sure. Then I did Colorado Whiskey, which was a great movie. Talking about what's going on the whiskey scene in Colorado. And then the last one has been St. Louis Whiskey. What's going on in St. Louis? So that's the fifth one. So that's the 5 movies I've got out. So that's out there. So check that stuff out. Jeff's got a roach clip with his cigar now.
Yeah, Cigar for Warriors roach clip.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought was going on there. So yeah, is that a blunt?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming up. It's a passion project, and it's something that I always want to do. There's sunsets on most of the things that I'm going to do at some point. You can only write Bourbon Zeppelin for so long. You can only do the Bourbon Daily for so long, the Bourbon Show. But making movies, I'd like to do that as long as I'm going. So yeah, that's
the passion shows through all the time. So
yeah,
again, awesome.
Very cool. Well, thank you guys. So there you go. But again, Bo should have been here. I don't want to be like I'm getting credit for everything we do. It's the trio. It's Susie doing that music, Bo doing all the stuff that he does, the directing and all that kind of stuff, editing. I mean, it all has to happen with that. And then me, I think I've always got the easiest role. I mean, just coming up with the ideas and putting out a script, that's easy. And then, the hard work comes from the other two, really. So
the face of the film.
The face of the film.
Steve Akley.
You're the idea guy. You're the Don Draper, the idea guy.
I'm the idea guy. So, yeah. So there you go. There's a little bit about our movies. Check them out. Watch them. Share them with friends. It's always amazing to me. I make a movie called St. Louis Whiskey. No one knows who I am. Outside of our normal group, we've got a great base of customers for sure. But then I see like in a forum, some guy talking about the movie St. Louis Whiskey. I'm like, hey, that's my movie. I'm here. I live in St. Louis. Really? Yeah, I do. Believe it or not, I do. So, yeah. So that's always amazing to me. But yeah. But you do it because you love it. So that's a little bit about movies. So if you got ideas, let me know. We would love to make a movie. I also, there's a passion project I want to do with a guy I was friends with that was an Olympic boxer. So we'll see. We may get out of the mix on the bourbon at one point just to do that movie. So he really wants to do it. It's just a matter. I got to get Bo here, and and then we got to line up all these boxers as opponents and stuff like that. So yeah, but it'll be cool to do. Boxing movies are always good, right? Whether you like the sport or not, it's just this idea of. There's not bats, there's not balls. It's two people in a ring, and whoever is stronger, quicker, badder, whatever it is, wins that fight. And there's just something oddly beautiful about it, even though it's ugly and mean. I don't know. There's just something that and it's just there's just something special about it, especially when you get to the point where this guy's at. He's not boxing anymore. He's my age, for God's sakes. But you get reflective on that, and you talk about these really wars that they had in the ring. I like the idea of that, and fighting for championships and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So I think that's a fun idea because I'm not the biggest sports girl in the world, but I like sports documentaries because I like to know where people came from. Their struggles, how you became a winner, how you became a loser, what you did after you retired. I like people's stories. So right. I think that would still be fun to watch.
This guy's name's Arthur Johnson. He was a flyweight in the Olympics. He fought in Seoul, South Korea. He went up for the gold medal against Korean, and he loses. He loses. He beat the guy. Anybody who would watch that film say he won that fight. But it's in Korea, and there's Korean judges, and he loses. You gotta, it's rare to get knocked out in the Olympics because they got the headgear on and stuff like that. So, it could be like, well, yeah, he just had to knock the guy out, and then he wouldn't have to deal with it. They got three rounds and headgear on, so no one's really getting knocked out for the most part. It does occasionally happen, but yeah, and it's a shame to see him get robbed like that, and that kind of starts the whole story, and then you go from there to the professional career where he gets his first championship, and the same thing happens to him. He beats a guy bad, and the judges just didn't give it to him, and then I quit following him after that because he stopped fighting for a little while, and then he comes back, and I'd lost track. I kind of lost the love for boxing at that point. I was kind of getting old with all the shenanigans, and he comes back and he wins like 2 championships, which is cool. So I think it's a great story for sure.
So Beka, were you in Minot when Virgil Hill was all the rage?
Yes. He still comes back every once in a while, and does different events and stuff like that. I think my brothers met him before, but yeah. Sure was.
There you go. Well, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Jeff, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
You can always find me on Facebook, Instagram, and the Cigar Dojo, Jeff Andreezy, 2 I's and 2 Z's.
Kathy?
I'm on Instagram at KKCaststrength.
Beka?
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C's, and at the ABV Barrel Shop this weekend, which was gone already after this.
It may be available. I think I gotta edit this show. When does this come out? Oh man, I just
tomorrow.
26th.
No, tomorrow, yeah.
Oh, tomorrow.
I'll be at the fucking barrel shop today.
I gotta edit this tonight.
You wanna come here and get yelled at apparently? Today's your day.
Today's the
Yelling
day.
at you if you deserve it.
Yeah. If you get yelled at, you deserve it.
Exactly.
Yeah. McNew, how about you? Where can people find you?
I am on Instagram at McNew ABV.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akley, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakley.com. We've also got a company website, abvnetwork.com. Check that out. Everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more. abvnetwork.com. Come by and see me. The ABV Barrel Shop, the place where you can try before you buy. Beka's there today, so why not? Get out there. Today is the day you should get there. So check us out online, abvbarrelshop.com. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I would like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. Audience. We'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Peace. Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing. The ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you are in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri. Or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akley production.